Hey folks, Ben from Snowy's here today with an awesome product from Cedar Summit called the Cinder Quilt. This is a more affordable quilt for those who are looking at lightening their load for summer adventures or even want to take up less room in their luggage for travel. This is the regular size Cinder quilt that I've got packed up here in front of me. It's two sizes, regular and large, weigh 480 grams or 620 grams. This guy I've got compressed up, so it squashes down to about 20 centimeters in length and about sort of 15 centimeters in diameter. The larger volume is just a little bit longer than that, but when they're uncompressed, it's about 30 to 35 centimeters in length. So they do pack down nice and small. Now you do get a storage sack with it as well, so when you're not actually using the quilt, store it in one of this guy here. Allows the down to breathe and stay lofted, but when you use that out in the field or for camping, you don't need that, you just need the compression sack. It's a siliconized nylon compression sack that it all goes into. There's 3 straps around the side here and a side release buckle, make it easy to get out. And the mat, I keep calling it a mat, this quilt comes out nice and easy. It's an oversized bag, so it's not a lot of work to try and wrestle it back inside there. And this is the quilt itself. Now, for those who aren't sure, the quilt is kind of like half a sleeping bag. It's the top layer and it's really designed to, well, this is designed really to go over the top of a mat. So you lie on the mat and then you put this quilt over the top and it tucks in around the sides. I'll show you more on that shortly, but they've also added some features into this called their QuiltLock system that allows you to take a regular Cedar Summit sleeping bag and use some of these built-in features here to actually clip it onto the top of the sleeping bag to extend the warmth of your existing sleeping bag. A little bit more on that later. Firstly, the materials though. Now the surface fabric on the outside is a waterproof and breathable nylon, 20 denier nylon. Now the sleeping bag itself isn't waterproof because it is stitched, but it's going to help protect the down a little bit. It's a soft touch 20 denier nylon on the inside here as well. And inside the bag is a 750 Loft Ultra-Dry Down. So it's got their ultra-dry treatment on it, which means if the down does get wet, it's not as affected by moisture as down used to be in days gone by, where if it got wet, it just sort of clumped and didn't perform at all. This will put up with some moisture before it starts to clump. And the actual construction of the bag is a box construction. So this stitching here goes all the way through. So the stitch we see here is the same stitch on the other side. There's no baffle in between. So it means that this point here is pinched together. So these are designed as sort of a warm weather bag when used by themselves, or something for travel to throw over the top of you if you're in a hostel or something like that. Or like I said, as an extra layer over the top of an existing bag to add more down and warmth to your existing sleeping bag. Have a bit of a look at the features. I'll just lay it out flat and sort of show you how this is designed to work. Now you can see the shape of it. It doesn't have a hood. It's got these little pouches here, which are kind of a cool feature actually. If you want to use this sitting around the campsite, I'll just throw this over my back here at the moment. You can wrap this around yourself, sit around the campsite, and you've got these little pockets here to put your hands in just to hold it around you to stay warm at the campsite. So another versatile feature to put it around you while you're sitting outside of the tent. And you can see it's kind of got this tapered shape that's designed to wrap around the bottom of a mat that I'll show you shortly. A drawstring at the bottom here to sort of close it all in at the end. And these straps that go down the side, there's a few different attachment points, but these straps that pull it all together around like this. So if we clip all this together, the mat will fit in underneath here. And then when you flip it over, you'll have a half sleeping bag to sleep under. Best way really to show you that is to actually do it. So let me grab a mat. Now this is a regular Cinder quilt here. If I put, this is just a regular mat from Cedar Summit here. If I wrap this around here and do these up, now you don't want them too tight because you need a bit of movement inside the, or on top of the mat so that you can move around. We clip these up. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4 attachment points. You don't need to use them all, so depending on the size of the mat, you might only need 3 attachment points, but I'll do them all up here now. There's 3 in the bottom one here as well. Tighten that up and then draw this up tight at the bottom. The mat will then tuck into the bottom here. Now you can use this on a square mat if you wanted, just means that you won't tighten this up quite as much. And it's going to sit out around, if you extend this out, so it's going to sit out around a square mat there too. So it will fit multiple sized mats, but this is a tapered one, so I need to do that right up tight there now. Flip this back over and push the mat right down to the bottom there, And we can see we've now got this sleeping bag on top of the mat. I'll flip this around so you can see the foot section here to show you how this is reasonably well protected here. If you pull that right up, you can see the mat sits in here. You've got this foot pocket here, bit of space on top for your feet to sit. And I'll climb in and show you how this works. So you want to keep the quilt pulled up so it stays on top of the mat at the bottom there, and you can adjust how much space you've got here by loosening those straps that sit underneath. But you can see that's actually fitting quite firmly there now. It's tucked right underneath the mat, and I've got a bit of room to move. I might actually want a little bit more space at the top here. Push my feet to the bottom. I might actually need to adjust the bottom here as well, because that's just a little bit tight around my feet there, just to loosen that strap on the bottom to give myself a bit more volume there. But otherwise I can now I'm on the limit of size for this. I'm 185 centimeters. This is 183 for this, but I'm actually feeling quite warm in the shop here at the moment. But I've got the mat. This is an insulated mat, I believe, underneath me here now. But if I had an insulated mat, I'm going to be insulated from the ground up. This quilt is insulating from over the top of the mat here, and I've got a nice lightweight option. Alternatively, I could not have this done up underneath the mat here and just use it as a quilt over the top of me as well. So use that lightweight versatility without having to carry a full-size sleeping bag with you. Now when you're sort of setting your Cinder quilt up or getting used to the best setting for you, you've got a few options on the back here. So these straps are all different lengths. So obviously you probably want the shortest one on the bottom there, longest one on the top. I would probably want this maybe extended out a little more for a bit more movement in the top there, but it's all personal preference. Another thing I'll note is that you've actually got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 attachment points for the straps, but you only get 4. Reason being that if you've got a shorter mat, you might need to move all the straps down a little bit more, or maybe you want to move it up to allow a bit more movement in your feet. So you've just got a bit of versatility with where those straps sit, and they just attach via press studs here. So they go, this strap goes through that loop there and then attaches with a press stud there like that. So that happens on both sides. There's another press stud on this side here. So that end of the strap just pushes through the loop and onto the press stud. Now the existence of these press studs also means that you can actually join these quilts together. The only downside of that being that you will end up with a bit of a gap between the press studs. If I take this out and roll it over to show you, if I take these off and join another Cinder quilt or another quilt here and here, they will attach with these press studs, but you can't seal that gap that's going to appear in between here. So you can put two together, but it's not a really tight sort of seal. So once again, good for warm weather camping if you want a double quilt to go over the top of 2 people. Now the last thing I want to show you is the QuiltLock system that Cedar Summit have got, and I need to grab just a couple of sleeping bags off the rack behind me here to show you how that works, because it works best with their free flow system, which on bags like this one here means it's got a zip that runs down this side here and a zip that runs down this side here, because that then means that there's 2 of these press studs here that feature. So if I put it on this bag first, those 2 press studs there, let's get this mat out of the way, will line up with 2 press studs on the quilt here. Now these studs attach to these studs here that exist for these little flaps that go over the zippers here. So this will attach here, and on the other side, this one here. So they just push in place like this, and that holds them at the top of the bag here. And then at the foot section, you just rely on this, creating a bit of a foot box to tuck the bag into. You can further to that use the straps around the back if you want, but in general, once your feet are down here and tucked into this section, it kind of holds the bag in place. These, if you lengthen these out, will help to wrap it around a little bit, but not a necessary step to take if you don't want. So essentially now what we've done is taken a warm sleeping bag and added extra warmth to it with the Cinder quilt attached to the top here. Just on warmth, where sleeping bags do have an actual temperature rating, they can't rate a quilt in the same manner because it has an open back on it, so you can't put a dummy inside it and have the sensors. It's not the same rating. They can't test it to a standard. So they just give a guide on the warmth of this, and they say sort of 4 to 10 degrees is the warmth or the comfort range of this. So you can probably expect to add roughly 4 to 10 degrees maybe of comfort to this bag here, but it's not an exact science like the ASTM testing standards on regular sleeping bags that are completely zipped up are. Now, one other thing I want to mention is that while all new Cedar Summit sleeping bags are going to come out with this QuiltLock system on it, you can still use it on other sleeping bags or older sleeping bags. If I grab another one down here, I can use this as an example because this bag doesn't have the free flow zipper system on it. So it's only got a zip down one side here. So it hasn't got the extra clip or extra one on this side. Now, above the press studs that I showed you before on the Cinder quilt here, so we got both press studs here. Above that, there is also this loop here. That enables you to use it on sleeping bags like this one here that has a press stud on this side here, but then on this side there's no press stud, but there is this draw cord here. So if we flip this over, rather than using the press stud where we would attach that there, this side we can still attach it with this little loop by just pushing it over the draw cord. So this is potentially usable with other bags as well. It doesn't have to be with the Cedar Summit range. Just for reference sake, the distance between this loop here and this loop here is 50 centimeters. So if you've got some way to attach this to a sleeping bag and you've got sort of 50 centimeters gap there, then you can attach this loosely to the top of your bag, still use the footbolt section here to loop it in, loop your feet into there to hold it in place and potentially warm up any bag, provided you've sort of got those sort of attachment points. So it does add a bit of versatility with, well, lots of versatility really with these quilts, both with just a lightweight option to go over the top of the mat and also to warm up an existing sleeping bag. You can also just leave it loose over the top of a sleeping bag like this too if you want, so it doesn't actually have to be attached. It can just be a loose quilt, so lots of different options. Now there are two sizes with this guy. 183 centimeters for the regular user up to 183 centimeters and 198 centimeters for the large version. So if you've got a long sleeping bag or you're over 183 centimeters, go the large. If you're under 183 or up to 183, go for the regular. That is the Cinder quilt from Cedar Summit. A really good lightweight, it's more affordable than some of the other quilts on the market. They brought this out to be more affordable. For those who want to get into a bit more sort of lighter weight hiking in their summer adventures, or something to take away for travel because it packs up nice and small. You can use it just over the top of you, thrown over the top of you in a dormitory or in a hostel, just with a liner underneath. You could even wrap it around behind you in a liner if you want on top of a bed, so you don't have the whole sleeping bag and all the zips and things to worry about the extra weight while you're traveling. So the Cedar Summit Cinder quilt. You can check these out online at snowies.com.au where you'll find them at our lowest prices every day. If you've got any questions, let us know down in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel for all of the latest info. Check out some other awesome Cedar Summit products like this one down here.